everybody. So the last few days, Jon David has had 10 out of 10 days, and I'm sorry that I did not post a video last night. Just like tonight, I fell asleep, and so the difference is I woke back up tonight. Last night, I did not, and so sorry about that. However, he weaned his Ativan yesterday, as well as he had a few more desaturation events. We're thinking Mallory went back through the data, and we're thinking that it looks more like he was getting his sedation meds clumped, and that's when he was having the bulk of those events. And so hopefully that has been kind of resolved today, and he's had fewer events, so hopefully that has been resolved. But that was pretty much yesterday. Everything was pretty smooth outside of the desaturation events. And then yesterday I went to work, got Hunter, picked up a U-Haul, went and cleaned out a storage unit that belonged to a family member who had deceased during all of this. And then Hunter, during that time, found something that he loved, which was a blue crab dinner tray. And that was the thing that he was most excited about. And then we were actually down close to Surf City at the time, and so I couldn't go that close to the pier and not take him, especially since he has started watching people like Ryan Morie and do a lot of pier fishing. And so took him out there knowing that we wouldn't be able to stay very long with it being a school night, but he just loved going out there. So we were there for about 20 minutes, but he loved seeing the mullet run and just being out there on the pier. He just loved it. The fact that we didn't keep the rod in the water for more than probably 10 minutes really didn't matter to him. And that is one of the things that I have loved about taking him into the great outdoors, is that for him, most of the time, it's not as big of a deal if we don't get something. He's just happy to go. And so that's been really refreshing. Excuse me. But while we were there, one of the things that he did have a whole lot of fun with, I'm sure y'all have picked up on, that he loves sharks. And so we took some pictures with some of the shark photo op things they've got there on the pier, and he loved it. Absolutely loved it. Again, pure joy. But he enjoyed seeing his mama come back home last night. We have a little overlap, and so we were both able to be with him last night. For anybody who has alternating work schedules with the parents, or if you are doing switch custody and everything, hats off to you, because this is incredibly difficult. We've been doing this for a few weeks now, and it's incredibly difficult, incredibly tiring. That's the reason why I've been kind of falling asleep. I need to get better at doing these a little bit earlier and then going to bed after. But that was yesterday. And then today, again, had a 10 out of 10 day, but they weaned his methadone. And they discontinued his amlodipine, which is a blood pressure medication, which we got to get that kind of clarified and figure out how that's going to do. If it's not going to do well, then we got to put it back on. But he had fewer desats today. They had his medication spread out a little bit more, and so because of that, didn't have as many desaturation events. Also, words of the day today that I meant to go into, talking about the amlodipine, is hypertension and hypotension. Hypertension is when you have too much blood pressure, it's high, and then hypo is when it's low. And so what we were trying to do is find a sweet spot. So they had him on the amlodipine because he was very hypertensive. His heart is enlarged. It's got a lot of that hypertrophy where it's got that thick muscle. And so when it's squeezing too much. And so it's making his blood pressure hypertensive, really high. So they had him on that amlodipine to kind of lower it down. And so now they're saying that it seems like the pressures are a little too low, and that the term they use for that is too soft. His pressures are too soft. And so they are taking that off to see if they'll stabilize and stay where they want them to. However, they've always been in goal. So his goal is 55 to 75. They haven't left and gone down below the goal. They've been in the upper 50s, low 60s. And so still very much within his goal. And so they're going to see what happens when they turn this off. And so we will see that tomorrow when it kind of gets out of his system, because he gets it once every 24 hours and he got his dose today. So we really won't see what his blood pressures do until tomorrow. But he also has been doing better with his regular saturation. It had come down a little bit when he had gotten his diuretic weaned, and then we had to put it back on because he had that fluid building. The x-rays are still showing stabilized fluid. There's still some there, but it's not bad. And his saturations have now been averaging more in the upper 80s, low 90s, whereas they had been more in the mid 80s before, when things were getting lower, and even in the low 80s, which for him was low compared to where he was before we weaned the diuretic. And so seems like he is responding well either to the diuretic coming back up, so he's peeing off that fluid. Could be that he's responding well to them lowering the calories in the feeds, because desaturation can sometimes come from feed intolerance, or just the fact that his meds are getting spaced out, and so he's having fewer desaturation events, or it could just be a combination of all three of those. And so who knows, but those seem to be kind of the factors playing into it. But that was Jon David's day. And then Hunter had himself another fun day. He went to preschool, colored a picture for Daddy, and then also made a craft of a butterfly for Mommy. And then we had an early supper before I had to leave town. And kid loves Spider-Man. So he knows most of the original 1967 theme song and loves singing it. And so he has a Spider-Man mask, and as somebody who is I like comics and I like superheroes, so for somebody who likes that, it is kind of refreshing to see my kid, who's a 3-year-old, sitting here singing Spider-Man theme songs. So it's a lot of fun. But also Mallory and I went and got our flu shots today, trying to make sure that we don't catch anything and bring it back here to Jon David. So we got them. Oh, there's the Band-Aid. If y'all haven't gone and got yours, then please do so. If you live in or around Whitewell, then go to Baldwinwoods Pharmacy and get yours. But also, when I got here to the hospital, Mama Kate was playing with Jon David on the floor. He's got that neck control, that head control. He's getting better with it. Doesn't need you to support his head, which, given how much time he has spent in a bed and not been able to get up and do like normal 6-month-old babies, is a good thing. I mean, he's making some progress. And then after he got his drugs this evening before he went to bed, he was a happy baby. And so we got to see him smile and be happy, which was always, it's always a good thing for us. We love those moments because we prayed really hard for those moments not too long ago. So if y'all would pray for these 3 things: 1, that he'll continue to tolerate these sedation weans as well as other medication weans like the blood pressure and the diuretics and those things as we move forward. 2, pray for all those who've lost loved ones, but especially those who've lost children. And then 3, if you'll pray for all those kids and families who are battling congenital heart defects, because again, this is not an easy road. It's not a short road, and it is one that is you're constantly on the lookout for speed bumps or detours. So thank y'all so much for all of your prayers and all of your support. Hope y'all have a good night and God bless, and y'all continue to choose hope daily. Jon David, tell everybody bye-bye.